Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bronze Age Minecraft, a series where we set out to recreate the Bronze Age settlements of ancient Greece. My name is Daskalos, and I am a professional archaeologist and certified interpretive guide. Now today, we are going to start terraforming. Yes, that dirty T word. And to start off, we'll knock down some of these hills. We want the palatial complex to be set apart and above the surrounding countryside. And while I do a little bit of this terraforming, we'll go ahead and dive into the real-life Pylos. This video is probably going to take a long time to make, so I hope to get it out in a timely fashion, but you know how terraforming goes. Plus, with this being the Bronze Age, I have some restrictions in place that will make this take a little longer. But anyways, I think I've stalled long enough. It's best just to rip the band-aid off, so if you're ready, I'm not ready. Let's get into it. Wait a second. I may have gotten a little too ahead of myself. I don't even know the footprint of the palace yet, so I might have been doing this all for nothing. Hold on, let me calculate this up. I'll be right back.
Many hours later.
What? No, it didn't take me many hours. Rude.
5 minutes later.
Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, so I think the middle of the palatial complex should be here, and it should be 79 blocks north to south and 96 blocks east to west. So let me put this footprint in first before I continue chopping hills down. Cue the music. Pylos is located in a region of the Peloponnese called Messinia, found here. Now, those of you who are familiar with the periods after the so-called Dark Ages and the expansion of Sparta would know Messenia as the area with which the Spartans got their slaves, their helots. But long before all of this, Messenia and Pylos was an area rich in trade, prosperity, and, more importantly to archaeologists, administration. I know the thought of administration and political structure seems awfully dull, but to archaeologists who study past cultures, these things are fascinating and offer a window into what past cultures considered to be important. All right, now east to west. Pylos, the real Pylos, is not located on an island like this is in Minecraft, but rather inland. The palatial complex at Pylos lies on a hill with a commanding view of the lower countryside, a rather perfect place to have the seat of your government. About 3.5 miles to the west is the ocean, and to the south one can find the Bay of Navarino. North of the site is a rugged range of mountains, which will come up later when we discuss the administration of lands and taxes in the kingdom, if we could be so bold as to call it that. Well, let's take a look and see how big this thing is. Holy crap. Okay, I'm gonna just fill in the footprint of the buildings and see how far we can get. The site is called the Palace of Nestor, which is taken from Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. You see, Nestor was an old king and general from Pylos who was known for his wisdom and counsel. Though, to be honest, a lot of what he says sounds an awful lot like, "In my day, we walked to school uphill in the snow, both ways, and we liked it." But I suppose that's what you get when you have someone who has supposedly outlived 3 generations, as Homer claims. Nestor stepped in to try to calm down the situation between Agamemnon and Achilles in the Iliad. He had some sound advice, but ultimately Achilles had his way, as did Agamemnon, I suppose. And later, Nestor pops up again in the Odyssey. In his first appearance in the Odyssey, Nestor is sacrificing to Poseidon on the beach, and that's why I put the altar up on that little island as we showed up a few episodes back. I'll probably move that altar to the beach near the palace. Pylos was the first place Telemachus went on his search for his father Odysseus. Nestor fed and housed Telemachus, as is customary by Messinia, before sending him on to Sparta with one of his sons. And that is basically the last we hear of Nestor in the Odyssey. One of the things that I find particularly fascinating about the Palace of Nestor at Pylos is not what is present there at the site, but rather what is missing. You see, in nearly all of the Mycenaean palatial complexes, we find massive fortification walls. These walls are described as Cyclopean because it was once thought that the only way these walls were built was if it were by the Cyclops themselves. Towards the end of the Late Bronze Age, we see a lot of the Mycenaean centers reinforcing these walls and getting ready for something. Yet, at Pylos, we find no evidence of walls ever being in place. Granted, in the 16th century there is evidence of walls, but this was well before the Palace of Nestor was ever built. It leaves you with many questions, such as, were they just peaceful? Or was Pylos so powerful that they didn't need walls? And that was the last of my dirt, which means we are going to have to start hacking away at this hill some more, and maybe even that hill over there. Now, I'm sure we can get it to look pretty decent, but we did get a lot accomplished today. The footprint of the buildings are pretty much in place, and they are massive. Now all we got to do is build the ground out and down. But I think I'll end the episode here and pick back up with some more terraforming for the next episode. I'm glad you could join me, and I hope to see you again. But until next time, I'll see you then.